Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 14b, top of the page, with the words Balil La'ir, Tzarich Lasok B'Medida. Clearly close to the city, was talking about measuring the Egla Rufa, being the person who died, the corpse, which, so such that even if the corpse is found clearly close to the city, that there's no need to measure in order to determine the closest city. Nevertheless, they must involve themselves with the measurement. Okay, mas nisan de lo ki haitana Titania Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer V'yatzu zekenecha v'shavtecha zekenecha zu Sanhedrin v'shavtecha ze melech v'kohen gadol melech dichtiv melech b'mishpat yamid aretz Kohen Gadol dichtiv ubata el hakohanim haleviim ve'el hashofet. The Gemara comments, the Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinion of this Tana, as it is taught in a Braita. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, with regard to the breaking of the neck of the heifer, the first states, and your elders and your judges shall go out. Deuteronomy 21:2. Your elders, this is referring to the Sanhedrin, and your judges, this is referring to the king and the high priest. The Braita explains the assertion that the king is called a judge. As it is written, the king by justice establishes the land, Proverbs 29:4. And the high priest is also called the judge, as it is written, and you shall come to the priests, the Levites, and to the judge that will be in those days. Deuteronomy 17, verse 9, referring to the high priest. A dilemma was raised before the sages. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov bechada plig or betati plig, b'melech v'kohen gadol plig, aval b'sanhedri ikra b'Yehuda ikra b'Shimon. Oidilma b'Sanhedrin nami pligi damar kula Sanhedri be'inan. A dilemma was raised before the sages. Does Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov disagree with the Tanaim of the Mishnah only with regard to one matter, or does he disagree with regard to two matters? Does he disagree only with regard to the requirement for the king and the high priest to participate in the measurement? But with regard to the Sanhedrin, he holds, either in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda or in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. Or, perhaps, he disagrees with regard to the Sanhedrin, too, as he says we require all of the members of the Sanhedrin to participate in the measurement. Amav Yosef, Tashma Mitzon Abayis, Pagi V'him Olein. Yaakov de'hamara amare tavadlemer come to Elisa el hamakom belamed shemakom goyim. Rav Yosef said, "Come and hear a solution to this dilemma from a Braita discussing the case of a rebellious elder, a sage who publicly teaches a halakha against the ruling of the great Sanhedrin. If the rebellious elder found the members of the Sanhedrin in Beit Pagi outside of Jerusalem and rebelled against them by rejecting their decision, one might have thought that his rebellion is deemed a rebellion and he will be able to receive the death penalty if he instructs the public to follow his opinion. Therefore, the verse states, and you shall arise and go up to the place that the Lord your God shall choose. Deuteronomy 17, verse 8. And this teaches that the location determines the authority of the Sanhedrin. To a certain extent, this authority exists only when the Sanhedrin is situated in the chamber of hewn stone adjacent to the temple. Dinafu kama ile miktoson dilmahana Hanach ikon gavi kamai kavate. Ela pshita nafkulo lemai. Ileva devar shoes. Mi matsu nafik. V'yachsiv. Shalech agad sahal al yachsal hamazig. Ela pshita devar mitzvah. Gemara clarifies, in the discussed in the Braita, how many members of the Sanhedrin went out to Beit Pagi? If we say that only some of them went out, there is no significance in such ruling issued by the rebellious elder, as perhaps those who are inside the chamber of hewn stone are the majority and hold in accordance with his opinion, in which case he certainly would not be deemed a rebellious elder. Rather, it is obvious that they all went out. And for what reason did they go out? If we say they went out for an optional matter, may they go out? But is it written in your nables like a round goblet wherein no bended wine is lacking? Song of Solomon, Song of Songs 7:3, which is referred to the Sanhedrin as sit in a half circle. There must never be more than 2/3 of them lacking, as this is the measure of wine blended in water. Rather, since the Sanhedrin may not leave the chamber unnecessarily, it is obvious that they went out for a matter relating to a mitzvah. Hechidami, what are the circumstances? La b'medina segala v'rabbi Yaakov D'Amar Kuli Sanhedrin Me'inon Amar Le Abaye Kegoin Lo Kegoin Shiatz Lo Haisif Al Ir Al Azois Kenitnan Ein Mosifin Al Ir Al Azois Ein Bezdin Til Shivim Be'echad Ela Bezdin Til Shivim Be'echad. What are the circumstances? Is it not that they went out to measure the distance between a murder victim and the nearest city in order to perform the ritual of the breaking of the neck of the heifer, and it is in accordance with the opinion of Yaakov, from which it can be deduced that he says we require all the Sanhedrin to participate? Rabbi said to him, no, that cannot be proven from here, because it is a case where it went out to extend the city of Jerusalem or the courtyard of the temple, as we learned in the Mishnah. They may extend the city or the courtyard of the temple only in accordance with the ruling of a court of 71 judges. Looks like I'm going to have to stand for this because I am starting to doze off. Okay, get a drink or something. Tanya Kavasadel Yosef. Okay. Holding by. Okay, I think we can do this here. Tanya Kavasadel Yosef. Let's drink. Sometimes sit in the chair and start dozing off. Wow. To wet the vocal cords. Nice. Okay. What are we holding here? Tani Kosov Yosef, Matam Abbas, Pagib him, Alehen, Kigoyan Jesam in his Nagel, Hoys, Yehoshua, Marois, Samaris, Amalama, come to Elise, and Makim, and Amashamakum Goyim. It's time to bright, in accordance with the opinion of Yosef. If you found him in Beit Pagi and rebelled against him in a situation where they went out to measure the distance between the murder victim and the nearest city. Okay. Coolidge. And the nearest city. In order to perform a ceremony of the breaking of the neck of the heifer, or to extend the city or the courtyards, one might have thought that his rebellion is deemed a rebellion. Therefore, the verse states, "And you shall rise and go up to the place," which teaches that the location determines the authority of the Sanhedrin. This proves that there is a Tana who maintains that all of the members of the Sanhedrin must participate in the measurement. Sheni she'en dam yeduin perois שירכיבו ביין שהקריס מעש שהחלידו תנו רבנן מעשר שני שאין דמיו ירואין פודין אוי סוי בשלושה לקויכס אבל לא בשלושה שאין לקויכס אפילו גוי אחד מהן אפילו אחד מהן בעלים. The Mishnah teaches valuations of the fruits of a fourth-year sapling or the second tithe produce in cases where their value is not known is performed by three judges. The sages taught in Braita, what is the second tithe whose value is not known and requires a special court to assess it? This is fruit that has decomposed and wine that has developed a film and coins that have become rusted and cannot be traded at full value. Therefore, there is a need for expert assessment. The sages taught in another Braita. The second tithe, whose wine is not known, may be redeemed by three purchasers, meaning experts in trade, but not by ordinary people who are not purchasers. This may be done even if one of them is a Gentile, and even if one of them is the owner. Boy, Rav Yomi, Shloshim Atilon Kisech Mahu Tashima Ishtain Ashav Poitin Master Shani Shane Damo Yeduin Dimakoino Pavabas Abasavua. Rabbi Yirmiyah asks concerning three people who deposit their funds into one single purse, meaning they are partners in expenses and profits. What is the halakha with regard to valuations? Are they considered as three people or as one? The Gemara answers, come in here a solution to the matter from a Braita. A man and his two wives may redeem produce of the second tithe where its value is unknown. It is apparent that three partners are considered a court for this matter. The Gemara rejects this proof. Perhaps this was a case of a marriage with special arrangements, such as that between Rav Papa and his wife, the daughter of Abba of Surah. Rav Papa and his wife handled their finances independently. She had her own property and was responsible for her own expenses. Akadeshus Shloisha Masnitin Delo Kihai Tana the Tanya Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer Afil Tzinora Shel Hegdish Tzricha Asara B'nei Adam Lepidota. The Mishnah teaches that the valuation of consecrated property is performed by three judges. The Gemara comments, the Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinions of this Tana, as there's taught in price. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says even a simple item such as a small fork or consecrated property requires a valuation by 10 people in order to redeem it. Amar Rav Papa le'abai bishlan Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Damar Shmuel Asar Kohanim Kesuvim Beparsha El Rabbanan Shloisha Menalu. Rav Papa said to Abai, granted, the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov can be understood, since what he says is in accordance with the opinion of Shmuel. And as Shmuel says, 10 priests are written in this Torah portion, meaning the word priest appears 10 times. In the passage discussed in consecrated property, redeeming the consecrated property, Leviticus chapter 27, for each time the word priest is stated, a judge is asked to the court that must endorse the calculation of the redemption according to a total of 10 judges, but according to the opinion of the rabbis, from where do they derive the requirement for 3 judges? Chitim dechsiv b'hu shloisha karkaos dechsiv b'hu arba tisagei barba chitim hachinami alma tenan hakarkaos tisha v'kohen. And if you would say that the word priest is written with regard to them, meaning with regard to the specific halacha of redeeming a consecrated animal, which can be generalized to any case of movable property only 3 times, Leviticus 27:11, 12, in the case of redeeming a lad, which with regard to which priest is written 4 times, Leviticus 27, 14, 18, and 23, it should be enough to perform the evaluation in a court or 4 judges. But if you would say, indeed, that is the case, why did we learn in the Mishnah that the valuation of consecrated land is performed by 9 judges and 1 priest? Elamai, Dimishalmi Behu Wasava Kadeshus Dimishalmi Behu Shita Libo Shita Kashya. Rather, what do you say? That the count of 10 instances of the word priest written in the section is completed with these, meaning that there is a cumulative calculation, and all the mentions of the word since the beginning of the passage, if so, concerning consecrated items such as animals, given that a similar cumulative count of 6 is completed with them, they should require 6 judges to perform their evaluation. The Gemara concludes, indeed, the matter is difficult. Okay. Ha'arachin, my arachin amitalton, Amar Rav Gidal, Amar Rav, be'oimer erach ke'lizelai, Amar Rav Gidal, Amar Rav, the Mishnah teaches that the evaluations are movable property are performed by 3 judges. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of valuations that are movable property? The term valuations generally is referring to a unique type of calculation in which one vows to contribute the value of a person, another to set the amount explicitly stated in the Torah. Leviticus 27:1-8. This type of calculation does not apply to properties. So what does the Mishnah refer to? The Rabban Gamliel says that Rav says the Mishnah was discussing a concert where one says the victim is a victim of his utensil is incumbent upon me to contribute. As Rav Gidl says, that Rav says, phew, made it. Wow.